Regarding the ongoing Ubisoft saga with the stock halted for what feels like at least a week at this point, Grum's quote tweeted Pirate Nation saying, "This is going to be a cluster. Pirate Nation, Ubisoft will communicate its earnings figures very soon," and posted their announcement saying, "Information relating to the release of first half 2025-2026 figures, Paris, 19th November, Ubisoft will communicate on its earnings figures for the first half of fiscal 25-26 no later than before the opening of trading on Friday, the 21st, November 2025. What are your thoughts on the current situation facing Ubisoft right now with their stock halted? And where do you see this potentially going?
I'm honestly pretty mixed on it because I know a lot of people are speculating a buyout that they're going to be acquired. That's exactly what's going to happen. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but it wouldn't be shocking given the state that Ubisoft is in. I mean, their past how many games have been complete and utter failures? Skull and Bones was a quadruple A failure, lost them over $200 million, and you can buy it now on Amazon, I think, for like $10. X Defiance servers are already shut down. It was supposed to be the COD killer, and clearly it didn't kill anything except for itself. You've got Star Wars Outlaws, which had the largest budget they ever, or largest marketing budget they ever had put towards a game. That was a failure. I think that is also just on the Star Wars brand not being particularly in the best place. And then Assassin's Creed Shadows, you know, I think that it probably sold, yeah, a couple million copies. The issue is that we get player counts, and that kind of muddies the water. I think that their point of, ooh, our game is selling well would be strengthened a lot if they just said copies sold instead of, players engaged or, downloads. But regardless, that had, I believe it was the largest budget out of the last 5 Assassin's Creed games, but it sold the least amount of copies, at least up front. Now, if it can go the distance, I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. I always figured it would sell 3 to 4 million copies and then kind of fizzle, and wouldn't shock me if that's exactly what's happening. We haven't heard it, hit any other major marks, and well, it's hard to imagine Ubisoft kind of picking themselves up at this point. I think perhaps a deal with Tencent wouldn't be shocking. I mean, we heard last year the Guillemot family and Tencent basically wanted to, acquire it and make a big deal out of a Ubisoft like acquisition. And I don't really think Ubisoft can fix themselves at this point with the way things have been.
Do you think that it has maybe a lot to do with obviously greed catching up to them, with everyone trying to transition their business models into live service, Game Pass or Ubisoft Plus or whatever that they were doing themselves? You aren't going to own your games, get comfortable not owning them, that whole direction. And that kind of they're coming home to roost right now, where it's not being financially fruitful, and now everything's coming to a head.
I think that it's a multitude of factors, but I'm sure you've seen the image a million times. You know the Ubisoft UI meme that's out there? It's got the HUD everywhere and basically the entire screen is covered. So the reason why I bring that up is I think that meme perfectly encapsulates the problem Ubisoft has right now, and that is that they don't know what gamers want anymore. They think that having some mobile slop UI in a game, having microtransactions, having mediocre level products is okay or acceptable, and it's not anymore. And I think that they don't understand that people don't want whatever they possibly could put out. We want very specific types of products now. We want high quality products. We want the bang for our buck. And they just constantly are not giving that to us.
Because it feels like more, at least for me, more pandering, trying to create a product for a specific audience of people. And
yeah, but those people don't buy games.
They
don't buy their games.
They don't play games. You know what they do? They take up roles as activists at game companies and then create those games for nobody.
Yep, exactly. They're not listening to the dedicated customer base that they actually have.
And you played Shadows, right?
Yep.
What did you think about Assassin's Creed Shadows? What was your impression of it? Did you get vibes of it feels like they were trying to make a game for someone else, or
Shiitake?
oh, the voice acting, I forgot. Oh my god, that was terrible.
It was just really mid. It was just a really fucking mid game with below average voice acting. I thought the world itself was beautiful. I thought the graphics were beautiful. I thought that most of the writing was pretty mid. Like, it didn't stand out to me as being overwhelmingly, disgustingly terrible. It wasn't a Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, but it certainly wasn't a 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh, this deserves to sell 100 million copies. It was just very forgettable. And that's why nobody's talking about it now. That's why the only time we're bringing it up is when it's being used as an example and why real gamers have moved on because it was
I,
just bad. I don't know. Wasn't it okay? It wasn't terrible. It just was really mid.
I think what you're trying to get at is if other Assassin's Creed games didn't exist, you'd be like, ah, it's fine. But when you're comparing it against a legacy of brilliant titles over the years, it couldn't really hold a candle to them. And it goes to the point Ubisoft, on top of making games for an audience that doesn't exist, is also making the games that aren't even as good as their own back catalog of games
Oh
they've made
yeah,
before.
like if it didn't have the Assassin's Creed name put on it and they didn't try to push the narrative that it's historically accurate, I think a
Mhm.
lot of people's perceptions of it would have been quite different. But when you have this legacy of characters like Desmond and Ezio, and you've got so many just phenomenal games in a series, and then you also have Ubisoft making every wrong move possible. What was it, 2 hours of credits when that makes no sense,
Yeah.
like, and it doesn't look like a game that thousands of people worked on. Yeah, it's bad. But if it was maybe like brand new and it was called, I don't know, Shadows Beyond, and it didn't have anything to do with Assassin's Creed, they didn't put their foot in their mouth all the time, I think people would be like, it's a 5, maybe a 6. I don't think that it would have been beloved though
That's a
either.
really good point that I never really thought of. Like I think Yasuke would have been more accepted in this kind of game if it
Yeah.
wasn't coming from a studio that people knew was pandering to an audience.
Well, right. That's a major issue is just the level of distrust with Ubisoft and really every major AAA company at this point. Like, they are consistently not, they're either, it's like the Call of Duty effect, right? They're either innovating too much and it doesn't resemble the original games that made it popular at all whatsoever, or they're not innovating at all. And these, it's like a lot of these companies just don't know a happy medium. And so you get one project that upsets people for one reason, another project that upsets people for the other reason, but either way, people are still unhappy with them.
It's a really good way to put it. Where do you see Ubisoft in, we'll say 5 years from now? Where do you see the brand of Ubisoft?
I think Samfall Interactive is going to be the new Ubisoft.
Hmm.
Just that simple. I mean, they got rid of, they let all their talented developers go, unless Tencent can bail them out, and unless Tencent's new creative house Vantage Studios can do something with the next Assassin's Creed game. I think Ubisoft's done.
I don't necessarily disagree. I think it's ironic too with Sandfall Interactive having, was it the lead dev that created the studio was a ex Ubisoft developer.
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking about Sandfall Interactive way more than we're going to be talking about Ubisoft, at least positively. I mean,
Mhm.
sure, yeah, if Tencent can continue to give them billions and billions of dollars, then sure, like they'll still be larger. But I personally don't even think the amount of money a company has particularly like matters anymore, because if you can create an amazing AAA level quality game with, what were the estimates for Expedition 33, like 15 to 25 million?
Mhm.
I think that Ubisoft's just become completely irrelevant.
Yep.
I mean, sure, maybe Ubisoft will move away from Assassin's Creed right now. They'll do something with maybe Far Cry. I could see Far Cry having a certain revival, but either way, I don't think it's going to be an easy time for Ubisoft.
I agree, and I think it's kind of across the board for these mega corporations. Uh, like Ubisoft has what, over 20,000 employees, which
Yeah.
is like what, double or triple what Nintendo
Yeah,
has.
well, look at how many different like studios they have and how many
Yep.
different arms they have. Whew, it's a lot.
And it's got to make you wonder if it's like something beyond gaming at this point. If it's just like I don't want to say like money laundering, but backroom deals with governments keeping them funded, because there's something very questionable going on here to afford all these employees and putting out these games. Like, what? How long is this sustainable for? So makes you
Yeah, I
wonder.
don't know.
Makes you wonder. Well, cool. Well, we'll leave that one
I wouldn't put it
there.
past them to be
No, right?
doing like these
Exactly.
hidden deals.
Exactly. Exactly.